Come into this circle of community. Come into this sacred space. Be not tentative. Bring your whole self. Bring the joy that makes your heart sing. Bring your kindness and your compassion. Bring also your sorrow and your pain. Bring your brokenness and your disappointments. Spirit of love and mystery, help us to recognize the spark of the divine that resides within each of us. May we know the joy of wholeness. May we know the joy of being together. Come, let us worship on this beautiful morning. Would you all please rise in body or spirit? And let me welcome you first, because that's the part I forgot to do. Sit down for a second. This has been one of those mornings. I've been banishing tech gremlins all day, so we'll see how this whole thing goes. Hi, welcome to the Unitarian Church of Los Alamos. I am the Reverend John Cullinan, your minister here. As Unitarian Universalists, we affirm and promote the inherent worth and dignity of all people and gather together in a free and responsible search for truth and meaning. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are in your life's journey, wherever you are watching this service right now, you are welcome to be a part of this community. I want to extend a special welcome to any visitors or first-time guests we have among us this morning. I would love to introduce myself a little more and answer any questions that you have. As we join us for coffee and conversation in the fellowship hall after the service, all are welcome. And now, would you please rise in body or spirit and join in our opening hymn, number 65. Remain standing and join in our affirmation. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve life in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow in harmony. Thus do we covenant with each and with all. Please be seated. Candles have been lit this morning with positive thoughts, and may new channels open for Rich Keith as he accepts a tough cancer prognosis, and in celebration and gratitude of our church home. For all our joys, all our sorrows, whether we share them aloud with one another or we hold them close and quiet in our hearts, let us be together now in a moment of silence. eternal and beloved, gracious source of all life and all love. We come together this morning grateful for this time out of time, which we have set apart so that we might become more fully present to ourselves, to each other, to that which we call holy. May our joys be celebrated together, our wounds be healed together, our hearts be opened together. We gather together this day from different directions, different horizons. Our lives tell different stories, but still we gather. For in spite of those differences, we know these things to be true, that we are each free to tell our own story, that the arc of each story begins within us, but never ends with us, and that though our stories might be different, our own tales are enriched and given context by the telling of others. May we be reminded on this day, in this place, of our need to hear one another's stories. May we find in our hearts a place of deep and reverent listening, a tolerance for different stories. And when the time comes, may we have the courage to speak our own stories into the circle of care and concern. For these intentions and for all our joys and our sorrows, shared aloud or held quiet in our hearts, we offer this prayer in the names of those known and unknown, present and absent, remembered and forgotten, in the names of all the helpers of humankind. Amen. Our story for all ages this morning comes in video format. This is a story from my favorite new philosopher. Adults especially, please pay attention. Can we get the video sound up? The sound. Nope. I would attempt to act out all the parts, but I don't think that would go very well. Well, it looks like one of the gremlins has clung on for dear life, and I don't know where to find it in the system. So we're going to try one thing here and see how it goes. How the heck is that working? When the time comes, I'll see if I can get this to happen. Imagine, or perhaps you don't even have to imagine, a child at play, spending most of its time in those playful activities, from playing peekaboo with an infant to complicated games of hide and seek. As children get older, the act of play is developing their brains from the bottom to the top, from the brainstem up through the limbic system and into the cerebral cortex. It is wiring their brains to be successful people. We know in children that play lowers cortisol, which is the stress hormone, while increasing dopamine and oxytocin, which is the bonding hormone, and GABA, the calmer of the nervous system. It's a way to turn ourselves around. Play creates a well-integrated brain in a child, connecting the left brain and the right brain, improving emotional expression, and strengthens the plasticity of the brain as they try different roles in play and tell new stories and explore their limits in a safe manner. Play makes one adaptable and solidifies a concept of self. And most of all, increases our capacity for social connections and navigating social situations. Play builds imagination and creativity, fosters our cognitive growth, has emotional and behavioral benefits, improves literacy, encourages independence. And then we reach adulthood. When I was a child, I spoke as a child, and I thought as a child, and I played as a child, and when I became an adult, I put an end to childish things. This is just one more example of how St. Paul just kind of ruined things for everybody. You're an adult now. Pick a career, pay your bills, produce things for society, or become a product yourself. And if we play as grown-ups, we have to schedule it into our busy days. It has to go into a day planner. Usually it's more competitive than it is cooperative. We're playing games to score points and to win, and sometimes that definitely adds to the stress in our system and breaks down some of that connective tissue that gets built in the play of childhood. The play of adulthood teeters on the edge of lacking any and all spontaneity and creates sometimes more stress than it relieves. I've been thinking a lot about the topic of play as I've approached middle age, turned 50 this past year, but even into my late 40s, I started wondering, what's the purpose of a midlife crisis? Not to reclaim youth, I've decided, but I want to reclaim joy for myself. And not just any joy, but the kind of unfettered joy that I felt as a child, somehow adapting myself to feel that in adulthood. That 8-year-old boundless joy. But how do I do that with my adult wired brain? I found the answer from my new favorite philosopher. I have a clever plan. Is that coming over?
the kids will play.
And the ladies watch us get all sweaty. Right, ladies?
You got it, Lucky's dad. Yay!
Now let's kick this off.
What do we play? Oh, I know. Let's set up a nail salon on this stump. Yay! Dad, we're just gonna use this stump for our nail salon.
That's fine, Bluey, but you've got until we finish with this stump, okay?
Okay.
Because then we're going to come and do that one.
Yeah.
So you understand that eventually we're going to come and rip up that stump.
Yes, I got it.
Because it's Stump Fest, and that's a stump.
Got it. Stump fest. Okay. Let's start the nail bar. Hooray!
Oh, great finish.
Thanks, ladies.
I told you this place was great.
Come back soon. We need more customers. Dad, can you be our customer?
Nah, stump.
Oh, you've almost got it. You've almost got it now.
Yes!
We'll just do your toenails. Okay. So, been up to much? No. Oh, that's very interesting.
Hi.
Oh, hello. Are you here to have your nails done?
Well, no, we're not here to have our nails done,
We're here for that stump.
as I'm sure you are aware.
Excuse me? It's the first I've heard about all this.
You guys need to move the beauty parlor so we can rip up that stump.
It's not a beauty parlor, it's a nail salon. There is nail salon. Yeah!
Bluey, I was pretty clear. You could use this stump for your nail bar for as long as it took us to rip up that stump.
I don't remember agreeing to that.
Well, I do. Now, come on. Vamos.
No!
Get out of the way.
Everyone, link arms! Save our stump! Save our
Out of the way, kids.
Save our stump! Save our
Jelly!
Oh, leave them alone.
What?
They're just trying to run a small business.
Go and destroy the planet somewhere else.
Destroy the planet? It's a stump.
Oh, leave that poor stump alone.
You're the one who wanted it gone.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I want to put it in a fish pond.
Oh.
Boo!
Save our stump.
Save our stump!
Okay, the optics on this aren't good.
We can take him.
No, back up, fellas, back up. Kids, let's calm this down. Is there anything we can do to settle this?
1 second. What do you reckon? Who's the customer? Okay, we'll let you have the stump if you'll be our customers.
You mean you do our nails?
Fingers and toes. And face makeup.
Oh, man, the boys aren't gonna like this.
Ah, man.
This is the best we're gonna get. Okay, fingers and toes, but no face makeup.
One face makeup.
Okay, deal.
But no unicorns.
Oh, delightful. Hold still, Daddy. Ooh, this will do wonders for your skin. Don't forget the eyeliner. Oh, yeah.
Looking good, Bandit.
Just don't, okay?
Finished.
All right, let's get this stump.
No, wait, not yet.
Louie,
I've changed my mind. I want to keep playing nail salon.
we had a deal.
Come on, Bluey. You did make a promise.
Aww. Why do they have to disturb our game?
Well, Dad did warn you.
But we were playing. You shouldn't interrupt people when they're playing.
I agree. Which is why I stopped you from disturbing them.
What? But they're not playing.
Yeah, they are.
They're not. They're ripping up stumps. That's not playing.
Are you sure?
I'm sure. I'm showing my little head off.
All right, just watch them for a bit.
Hey, just try and hit me. I want to show you something.
All right.
Nah, not like that.
That's how I hit.
Like this.
Oh.
Ah, what are you doing?
Oh, sorry, my instincts took over.
I will send the link. Unfortunately, you have to pay to watch it if I send you the link, but it's $1.99. Bluey is a global phenomenon for those of you who are just seeing it for the first time, produced as a co-production between the BBC and Australian television. And every episode is about 7 minutes long like that one, and they're all based around the kids using their imaginations and playing, and the parents getting involved in the play. And as we see in this episode, the parents doing their own sort of play as well. And all the while, it imparts important lessons that I think we all need to be reminded of at times. Share, don't be a bully, take turns. It's won several awards because of its messages. I think we need them in our lives. And for parents, it's a source of validation and inspiration for the way they are parenting. And for adults without kids who binge watch several episodes at a time on a weekly basis, it is also a reminder of that importance of play. And we see the importance of adult play in that video, the physical work and the problem solving and the socializing that gets built up. Neurologists say that our brains stop cooking around 25 years old, that it is formed to the extent that it's going to be, that things are not necessarily locked in place, but that our frontal cortex is done and our brain is now an adult. But the benefits of play do not disappear when we reach that 25-year-old milestone. I wonder sometimes if adulthood is even the right word to use. I'm kind of fond of one of the millennial generation's contributions to the lexicon, adulting. Another activity, another role-playing game that we play, the things we have to do as adults. Go to work, pay the bills, be good citizens. And it's one game among many that we fit into our lives to continue playing, because the play keeps us human. It relieves our stress, it improves our brain function even after 25, it stimulates our creativity and helps us be creative in our problem solving, and it improves our relationships and our connections with one another. And it's those connections that are most important to me. The neurobiologist Jacques Panksepp says, quite simply, the function of play is to build social brains that know how to interact with others in positive ways. And it is also, as some other experts say, a form of mindfulness, an active mindfulness on its feet that forges and strengthens our sense of connection to everything around us, depending on where we are setting our play. And so in that regard, play is a spiritual practice. It is something we take time to do to rebuild and strengthen those connections to ourselves, to each other, to whatever it is we call holy. Hugo Rahner, the Jesuit priest and church historian, back in 1955, wrote a book called Mann at Play, and it was 1955, so please excuse the title. But in it, he suggests that mere seriousness, that's his phrase, mere seriousness does not get down to the roots of things. Play isn't trivial. It's only a playful way of living that does justice truly to the seriousness of life. There is a sacred secret in play. To my mind, that secret is the rekindling of our connection to all that is, so that we might take delight in creation and our part in it. Or when I talk about my myth of the great heart at the center of all things, the great heart who has sent us out to experience creation to its fullest so it can be appreciated, we find that in play and in seeking out delight. And if that's not enough, play is a role in practical theology, in the way that we move through the world, seeing the world not just as it is, but exploring the ways that it could be, and building up our capacity for problem solving and interaction so that we can bring into being that world that could be. May it be so. As we prepare to return to our everyday lives, it is time to give something of the gifts of this congregation back to the wider community we are part of. It is time for our offering. During the month of June, all cash and undesignated funds will be given to the Trans Resistance Network. It has been set up as a clearinghouse to help trans people and their families in states where their lives are endangered to either relocate or to get the healthcare services they need in remote locations should they need it and be unable to get it in their home states. This is being funded, or the fiscal sponsor is a Unitarian church in Connecticut, which is where the money will go, but they are reserving that for this resistance network, which, because of security reasons, prefers to remain anonymous in their address and in their staffing and all of that. You may give through the baskets this morning or in the box at the back of the sanctuary, or use your Givelify app as always. The offering will now be accepted. May what you give bring you joy and into deeper relationship with this community. Important announcements and upcoming events can be found on the back page of your order of service, through our email announcements list, in our monthly newsletter, The Voice, on our Facebook page, and other places. Just a few things to highlight this week. First up, the ballots for our virtual annual meeting, because we did not have a quorum the other week, will be heading out in the mail this week. You should hopefully have them around the 7th. And we asked for them to be returned here to the office by June 21st. Friday, the 16th of June, is Pride Fest proper during Pride Week in Los Alamos, taking place out on the lawn at Central Park Square. We will once again be having an information booth out there, and I am looking for volunteers to come and help staff that booth from 3 to 7. Come and spend an hour or two, or the whole afternoon as you like. We will have pamphlets and information. We will have stickers to hand out. We will do the glitter blessing once again because it was so popular. But if you want to spend some time with me in a booth, come on out and sign up. Talk to me after the service. And on that same note, we're going to attempt to have our information table at a few of the summer concerts this season. Patrick Webb is heading up that effort, so if you would like to spend some time on a Friday evening listening to free music and also helping get the word out about the Unitarian Church of Los Alamos, talk to him and we'll see how this is all going to work out. And now would you all please rise once more in body of spirit and join in our closing hymn, number 338. Friends, may life bless us and keep us. May the light of life shine upon us and out from within us and be gracious to us and bring us peace. For this is the day. This is the one wild and precious life we have been given. So let us all find a way to rejoice and be glad in it. Go in peace.